thank you to the entire Wall of Honor Committee and our sponsor, Alan Gammons, for making this evening possible. It's your willingness to contribute your time to the enrichment of the lives of others that makes this community so great. And thanks to everyone here for coming tonight. Your presence means the world to me. There's a couple people in particular I'd like to point out because they're teachers and coaches of mine. Mrs. Stenberg is here. She was my 4th grade teacher at Meadowbrook Farms Elementary. She taught at Meadowbrook for 28 years. 26 of those as a 4th grade teacher and the last 2 as a 3rd grade teacher. And I'd also like to recognize my basketball coach, Coach Donnie Bowen. Coach Bowen has been involved in East Greenwich basketball for 6 decades. And this past season, he took his team all the way to the state championship. So I'm grateful that he's here. I'd like to congratulate my fellow honorees. You've led inspiring lives with laudable accomplishments, and I'm humbled to have my name included alongside yours in this evening's program. Now, there may be some truth to the rumor that if I wasn't selected, I was going to tape a picture of myself in the hallway and insist on giving speeches at the next school committee meeting about myself. But the real rationale is probably because I've been the fortunate beneficiary of an enormous amount of support from this community and love from my family for my entire life. This community has supported me in a myriad of ways, from youth sports, EGHS, Our Lady of Mercy, the Greenwich Club, East Greenwich Shell. The list is very long. But it's the East Greenwich School District that's the institution that's at the heart of this community. I received an exemplary education from East Greenwich schools and an enormous amount of support, tutelage, and guidance over the years. And for that, I'm forever indebted to these schools. And by these schools, I don't mean the bricks and mortar or the land where it sits, but the people that comprise the institution and make it great. With some of my classmates in attendance tonight, it seems appropriate to pay homage to those who dedicated their lives to the betterment of ours. For a lot of us, it started in kindergarten at Meadowbrook with Mrs. Doyle. And from there, we had Mrs. Munson, Mrs. Hurley, Mrs. Tondries, Mrs. Stenberg, and Mrs. Campagnon, Mrs. Monica in art, Mr. Crosby and Jim, Mr. Yajin in art, I'm sorry, Miss Monica in music. And you can't forget in the office staff, Mrs. Barandino, Mrs. Brandisi, Mrs. Caronia, and Mrs. Dixon, Mr. Foster, God rest his soul, at the helm. And who could forget Bobby Taylor, keeping our school clean and safe for everybody to enjoy. When I was in 6th grade, and we had Mrs. Snyder, Mr. Senecal, and Mr. Marshall. Now, I could go on and do this for Cole Junior High and the high school too, but I think you get the point, so I'll spare you the soliloquy. That all said, there's a couple teachers that I need to point out specifically because of the impact they had on my life. It's no coincidence, but rather a testament to the strength of this community that one of those teachers happens to be the father of one of my fellow honorees. Diane, I'm so glad that you and your family are here so I can tell you how much your dad meant to me. He was my teacher at Cole Junior High and also my basketball coach. He was strict and he was stern, and we knew how much he cared in the way he demanded discipline and adherence to his rules. He was adept at pointing out our shortcomings both in the classroom and on the court, and even better at showing us how we could improve. He expected and allowed for mistakes, and he relished in opportunities to show us how to grow. Mr. Monk supplemented the great work of my family in keeping me out of too much trouble in an age range when any youth can turn wayward. The type of support I had from Mr. Monk would prove to be a pattern when I entered East Greenwich High School. If you know anything about East Greenwich High School, you've probably heard of Coach Art Kershaw. Coach Kershaw taught and coached in East Greenwich from 1963 to 2002. His football teams won multiple state championships. More important than that, his football teams won the Providence Journal Sportsmanship Award a record 6 times. His baseball teams won 10 divisional titles, traveled to the state championship 5 times, and prevailed multiple times. For a large part of his career, he also coached wrestling. You guessed it, he won championships in wrestling too. He's been honored as the Coach of the Year. He's a member of the Rhode Island Football and Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame, the Providence Gridiron Hall of Fame, the Rhode Island Interscholastic League Hall of Fame, the West Warwick Athletic Hall of Fame, and the East Greenwich Athletic Hall of Fame. What's his secret? He required his teams to play tough, but always clean and fair. He demanded sportsmanship both on and off the field. He not only encouraged us to overcome adversity, but he did so himself, all the time with pride, dignity, and an unflappable spirit. I had the great pleasure of playing for Coach when I was a student at East Greenwich High School, and to this day, almost 24 years since my graduation, he remains one of the most influential people in my life. I've had great teachers in East Greenwich, and in my opinion, some of the very best that public school systems have to offer, but my luck doesn't stop there. To steal a line from my brother, we won the parent lottery, and I'll take that a step further, we won the family lottery. We've been blessed with great grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, siblings, spouses, and children. Several of them are here tonight for that, and forever grateful. My mom, God rest her soul, is not with us physically, but I know she's here in spirit. And although she no longer walks God's green earth, her lessons still persist. She taught us to value community, to always be willing to offer help and to not be afraid to ask for it, to be consistent and firm, but always empathetic and caring, that your best work is done before the sun rises when everybody's asleep, that it's okay to take a mulligan in life, and in fact, your second shot may just exceed your wildest dreams. When I rehearsed this, I didn't get choked up. Although my mom's not with us, and I really wish she was, I believe that heaven descended upon her early to teach us a simple truth, that disease can bring about unfathomable physical pain and death to the human body, but neither it nor anything else is any match for the strength of a loving spirit. I've had an incredible family, both immediate and extended, and the world's greatest mother. That's enough for any mere mortal. But 17 years and 4 days ago, it got even better for me. That's the day I met my wife, Steph, in North Carolina. She's exemplified commitment, devotion, and forgiveness in a way I didn't think possible. She inspires me every day to be a better person, a better community member, a better father, and a better husband. The day we got married, the birth of our children, and the welcoming of our foster children into our home have been among the best days of my life. I rank moving back to East Greenwich up there too, not just because it's historic and quaint, filled with nice neighborhoods, an active Main Street, and a beautiful waterfront, although all those things are true, but because I've seen this movie, and I know how it'll play out for our children. They'll grow up in a safe and supportive community, replete with people, both in and outside of our family, not only willing, but eager to support the development of our children. I also know that one day our children will meet up with their lifelong friends that they first met at Meadowbrook, and they'll reflect back on the idyllic nature of their childhood, their great schools, teachers and coaches, family and friends, and how they, like me, had the best mother anybody could ever ask for. My favorite part of my story is that it's not unique to me. Countless people before me have experienced positive life trajectories due to the support of this community and the love of their families. Now don't get me wrong, I suffer from pride and vanity, and you'll probably see me out in that hallway with Pledge and Windex shining up that plaque. You may also overhear me tell my boys that when they come to East Greenwich High School, they'll get to walk by a picture of their old man every day. My hubris aside, to the extent that I've been able to do anything good, the honor goes to this community, these schools, my family, my mother, and my wife, and that the glory, like in all things, is God's. So thank you for being here tonight, thank you for indulging me, and thank you for everything you all do, individually, collectively, directly and indirectly, to make this community great. Thank you.